Is it important to activate DJI Air units and Vista units before the upcoming DJI ban? No, I don't think so. Um,
Could
so
always activate over a VPN if you had to, but I
that's a good
really
point.
doubt it's
Yeah,
going to matter.
yeah. I don't think DJI would prevent people who have existing hardware from activating it. Now,
Which,
obviously, I can't be sure.
just remember, DJI is the same company who just removed geofencing. Okay,
Yep.
so like, I don't see a company doing that and then suddenly locking down instead. I don't know. That's
Yeah.
my 2 cents.
Yeah. And you could always use a VPN if you really needed to. If they did say F the United States and everyone in it, we're locking out all this hardware, just use a VPN. You should be fine, right? No, I don't think you need to rush to activate it because what'll happen in December is DJI goes on the entities list. That means at the very least they cannot get new FCC certifications, but the existing stuff still has FCC certifications. Actually,
Yep.
the Vista units don't have FCC certs. They never did.
Yeah.
Haha, isn't that fun? So the Vista units are already technically not legal. But even if they pull the FCC certs, that doesn't mean the equipment stops working. It just means it's not legal for you to use it, and you decide how much you care about that.
Um,
I think, yeah, and
Two questions.
even here, hang on, Bloody, one second. Even if we imagine a unrealistic hypothetical worst case scenario where the United States says possession of DJI air units is a felony, you could still activate them. Why would DJI go, oh, well, shit, I guess we're not going to let our United States customers activate their hardware? DJI doesn't care if the United States government passes laws against their hardware. It would only be if they just wanted to, well, if they specifically wanted to prevent American citizens from using their stuff for some reason, but it would be a great betrayal of all of their customers, and it just seems like what's their motivation to do that? Wouldn't it be better Wouldn't it be better for you, United States citizens, to have DJI hardware and be annoyed at the government for making it hard for them to use it, and DJI is the good guy, as opposed to DJI going, we're going to lock out all your hardware. Now DJI is the bad guy, and then they don't have anybody fighting on their behalf. Go ahead, Monty.
So if the FCC pulls old certifications, okay, because there's two things that I've heard right now. One is the FCC chairman is trying to make it so they're allowed to pull old certifications, okay.
Yes.
Two is that Rick Scott is trying to claim that the way the bill was written, they can pull certifications from the date of the bill, which is December 2023. So that's that's another piece of it. Regardless, is it possible that you could just fly them with a ham license because they don't have Part 15?
No. No, I don't
Why?
think so. Because. Ooh, oh. Are they Part 97 compliant? Is the modulation. Is the modulation allowed under Part 97? Is digital modulation allowed under Part 97?
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I'm not sure.
So I would. We need to look. Yeah, certainly there are some Part 15. I recently got. Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed to say this. I recently got slightly into ham radio. And I'm embarrassed to say it because I got a ham license so that I could use FPV systems, which many of them are legal to operate under Part 97. And people were like, you should get into ham radio. And I was like, I'm not that interested in ham radio. What do I care? I got I got some radios. I got some Baofeng radios. I know that people in the ham radio community are cringing right now. And I realized that there were certain frequencies that I was allowed to use those on because I have a ham license. I was like, oh, isn't that fun? But I'm not doing any like ham radio shit. I'm just like using them to talk to my wife or my coworkers sometimes. I went out on one of these trips that I went on, and we got there and we were like, we said to the customer, hey, do you have radios? You going to give us radios? And they were like, no, we don't have radios right now. I was like, oh shit, I need to buy radios. Because cell phones sometimes don't work. So I bought my own radios and I got a little into ham radio. And I realized that some of these radios, they can operate on like GMRS frequencies, but they're not They don't have GMRS certification, so they're not legal to use on those frequencies. But if you have a ham license, you can use the radio on other frequencies and you're good to go. So my point is that's an example of a product that if the product was licensed, you wouldn't need a ham license to use it. But if it is not licensed, if you have a ham license, then you're good to go. But I'm not convinced that DJI is like that. I think there are probably some Part 15 devices that would be legal to use with a ham license, but I'd need to check what modulations are allowed in 5.8 gigahertz under Part 97. Let's just see if we can get an answer to this question. Do not restrict modulation types. Oh, okay. Okay. Maybe, then, Blunty, maybe, if you have a ham license, then you're good to go.
It might be worth figuring this out and then letting people know.
Yeah.
Because that's a way people could go, right? They're going to have there is a non-zero chance that the FCC certification will get pulled for existing equipment. So this may be relevant.
Interesting. You could keep using the DJI equipment legally under your ham license. I'd want to look into it. Anyway. Yeah, it's these Baofeng radios are interesting because there's two bands. One is GMRS, and it overlaps with FRS, which has lower power, and they work similar to Part 15, where the radio needs to be certified by the manufacturer, and then the user doesn't need to have a certification to use it. But the Baofeng radios can transmit on the GMRS bands, and they're not certified, and it's kind of like, yeah, but who's going to know? Like, who knows what radio you have in your hand when you key the mic and transmit? No one knows. It's another case like FPV where unless you're a bonehead and you get caught, no one's going to care. If you get caught, there will be fines. It'll be bad. And then there's another band called MURS, M-U-R-S, which is down in the VHF frequencies, which likewise, I believe, you're supposed to have certification on the radios. They're not ham bands. And then there are the ham radio bands, where, the ham radio bands are where people who really give a shit hang out. Like, you didn't say your call sign before you transmitted. So I just don't mess with those people. Yeah, these are cool. They're cool radios. It's very cool. One of my favorite things about these radios is they can listen on two frequencies at the same time. So, like, for example, you could have whatever frequency you're transmitting on, and then you also could tune in to, like, the airport's approach frequency. So as airplanes are coming in, you're hearing their traffic if you're, like, flying near an airport. It's kind of cool.